Hello there. My name is Rick Widmeyer and I'm with the Screen Door Restaurant in Portland, Oregon. Today we're going to be making grits and grillades. We're going to start with some pork loin cutlets. This is a boneless pork loin. I have cut them thin and tenderized them with a mallet. Nothing, you don't have to go too crazy, just a little tap just to kind of tenderize them up. We have some salt, pepper, and cayenne here. And we're going to season liberally. I like to season up high so you get even distribution. Salt, some black pepper, and then I have cayenne here in a shaker so I can control it a little bit more. How much cayenne you like, it just depends on how much heat you like. I like a little bit of extra heat. There's one side there. I'm going to flip these over. A little more salt. A little more pepper. There we go. We have a seasoned pork loin here. We're going to dredge them in just a mixture of all-purpose flour. You can season that if you like, but most of our seasoning is on the meat itself. These are just going to go in, a little up and over, and just a light coating. You can have a little extra flour on there. It's not going to hurt anything. Now we have our seasoned floured pork loins. What I have here is a little bit of rendered bacon fat. This is just from basically just some bacon that we've cooked off, and bacon, as you know, releases a lot of fat, and so we're going to use this actually to build the base for our sauce. I have a nice hot smoking pan here. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Cool down a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of fat here. It's okay if that smokes, you kind of want that. I've turned my heat down just because I have a really hot pan. The pork loin itself is going to cool down the pan a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more fat. There we are. I'm just going to let these brown on each side for about 3 to 4 minutes each side, or just depending on how hot your pan is, sometimes sooner. Here we are with our pork loin cutlets. They've been in the pan for a few minutes and they've browned up quite nicely, as you can see. Just going to flip these over and get some browning on the other side. Heat up there. And at this point in the process, we'll go ahead and we're going to set aside and start making our roux for this dish. What I have here is some all-purpose flour. And I have some, you can either use melted butter or vegetable oil. I have about, it's 1 cup to 1 cup. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir this in here. And we're just trying to incorporate this. I want to make sure we have no lumps. So I just want to kind of get everything from the sides, bring it on in. Now I have this over medium to low heat. I've found that if you go a little bit slower and lower, you'll end up having more control over the color of your roux. We have all that incorporated. I've actually done a few different examples today of different stages of roux. What I have here is I have the start. As you can see, it's just really light. The flour is not toasted at all. I have the medium stage here, which is a kind of a golden roux. We're starting to see some toasting of the flour. We're seeing a little bit of that kind of nutty flavor of the oil and the flour kind of coming together. That's going to be important to our grillades. We want that flavor. And then at the end here, I have the finished product, which at this point, it's the flour is completely toasted down. The oil is in there, and everything's kind of doing what it's supposed to be doing. At this point, we're going to add our vegetables to this mixture, and we're going to start the grillades. I'm here with my roux. I've been stirring this on a nice slow burner for about 45 minutes. Depending on what kind of stovetop you have, it may be a little faster, it may be a little slower. But it's one of those things that's definitely going to take a little bit of time. And you'll know, when you hit this color here, this is the color you'd like to have. Don't be put off by the fact that it's a little bit loose. It's all going to work out in the wash. So at this point, I'm going to bring the heat up a little bit, and we're going to add our vegetables. I have a trinity, a Trinity is in Louisiana cooking. It consists of onions, celery, and bell peppers. It's used in a lot of different recipes. It's almost like the French mirepoix. So we're going to go ahead and add all these in here. Now your roux is going to seize up a little bit, which is fine. You want it to actually stop the cooking process at this point. I'm going to add my bell peppers and add celery. We're going to stir this probably for about 10 minutes or just until softened. It is going to cook on the stove for some time, so I'm not too worried about getting it all done here at this point. Once we reach that stage, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. I have a couple of bay leaves. I have some apple cider vinegar. I have some garlic. How much you add, that depends on you. I'd say about a tablespoon at least. And then I have some chopped tomatoes in their own juice. This is a fresh tomato. Now we've added everything in here. And now we just stir this mixture and keep everything going for about another 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to add our pork cutlets back into this mixture. This is about where we are in the process. All our vegetables have softened up. Everything's kind of mingling together, getting to know each other. What we're going to do at this point, we're going to add our cutlets back and we're going to add some stock to the pot. And then we're going to let it cook for about an hour and a half. So I have my brown pork cutlets here. Those can just kind of go in there, any old random matter. And then I have some good quality pork stock here. Now you can also use chicken stock or beef stock depending on what protein you're using. I have pork here. It's because I like to have pork stock. About 2 quarts here. I'm going to add a little bit, see where I'm at. I'm going to give it a stir. And I'm going to add a little bit more. That's all in there. At this point, we're going to go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit. Kind of want to get everything to kind of come up to a quick boil, and then we're going to shut it down and let it simmer for about an hour or just until the meat's tender. Now, I'm using pork loin today. You could use pork shoulder, or you could use any other cut that you have. I think a cut like a pork shoulder works really well in this application. Although loin, a little bit quicker and a little bit easier to work with. Shoulder will take a little bit longer, considerably longer. But we have everything in our pot. Our loins are there. Mixture's a little loose. Don't worry about it. It's going to get thick and really dark here in probably about an hour and a half. And here we have our finished product. This is your grits and grillade. We have our cutlets. We have our nice brown gravy over top of nice creamy grits there. I've presented it family style for you. You can serve it individually if you like, but the best way to have it is just to enjoy it. Thank you very much.